Hey, everybody, welcome on back to the Rubbin is Racing podcast. It's me, Large, in Chicago with the two Chicago, I don't know, legends, Quigs, and my man Spider. We got Jacob behind the ones and twos. Jacob had gotten me down there. They changed the mix for the ice cream machine, went more to a custody mix.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Holy shit.
Yep.
It's night and day from when the first time I had tried it. Next level type stuff. Moonhead is going to be somewhere in the ether, and on today's show we're going to have Zane Smith coming up in just a little bit. We hadn't had Zane on yet this season, so good as time as any to have him. Before we get started, I wish a happy 50th birthday to Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson, 50, handsome as all fucking get out. Harvick turns 50 later this year, and I think Truex turned 45 earlier, but no one's seen him since he fucking retired, which is crazy. This episode is brought to you by Body Armor Flash IV. Flash IV delivers faster, longer-lasting hydration with over 2,000 milligrams of electrolytes and no artificial dyes, flavors, or sweeteners like those other drinks. So whether you're training, traveling, or just feeling the heat, work hard. It's 80 degrees, 82 degrees here in Chicago. I wasn't ready for it. So, yeah, I need some of this to get me through the day. You can hydrate hard with Body Armor Flash IV. Grab yours today at your local 7-Eleven convenience store. Thanks so much for your continued support, Body Armor, and we'll see you guys at the track. It's also sponsored by Game Time. There's nothing like a crisp fall night at the ballpark, but try getting there. It's brutal. You're stuck in a queue, prices jump at checkout, and you're logged out mid-click. All you want to do is be in the stands, beer in hand, yelling with the crowd. The Game Time app gives fans that advantage back. It's the hack for unlocking amazing tickets and experiences in a few taps. It's incredibly easy to use, and the Game Time guarantee means you can trust you'll get 100% authentic MLB tickets on time and at the best price, plus your fees are always included, so what you see is what you pay. I was looking for tickets since I'm in town. Chicago White Sox versus Baltimore Orioles tonight. I saw an amazing Game Time deal. Great seats, gold box, section 143, row 8 for $56 only, and that's including all the fees. So I'll take a report on that. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code Rubbin for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code RUBBIN for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download the Game Time app today. All right, boys, welcome on back. How's everybody doing?
Fantastic.
I'm doing great.
Yeah?
I'm glad you're here.
Thank you.
It's nice being in here with no headphones on. It makes me feel like very comfortable. Like, I know you have them on, Large, but having you in the studio is a nice change of pace.
Yeah, I'm always a headphone guy because I do this a lot.
Yeah.
And, I do this a lot. Like, I'm always I'm a rockette. For people who are now watching this on YouTube, you listen to it somewhere, shame on you, but I'm uncomfortable to watch as I move my legs back and forth, so I need this kind of shit. We had a great race this weekend. Yeah. I think, one of the better races of the season. I was cooking during it, so all the cautions and stuff didn't matter to me as much as some people, but got an 80, just under an 81 on the Gluck scale, so we're getting there. But Xfinity viewership dropped under 1 million. We know how CW is getting those millions. Part of that is because it was the Friday slot. Eric Almirola wins that one. I don't know. Do you guys feel the same way? I don't give a shit when Eric Almirola wins a race anymore. I don't even know what the fuck it means at times, right?
Yeah.
He's not full time.
I did think he was going to say like something super profound at the end of the race, following it with the whole Charlie Kirk stuff. I thought he was really going to take a... He said a little bit of religious stuff, but I felt like it was not what I was expecting him to say coming out of the car.
He's a relatively religious guy, right?
Yeah. I was actually, I guess my point is I was surprised that Christopher Bell said something following the race.
Yeah.
Whereas kind of Eric Almirola didn't. Not that he kind of addressed it, but in a roundabout way.
You're expecting more out of him.
Yeah.
You're disappointed in him?
But
no.
But I
thought it was interesting. That's all.
We consistently ask drivers if they mind when people ride in lower series and stuff like that, and they always say, "Yeah, bring it on." But I think Amarola's almost outstaying his welcome a little bit. If I was an Xfinity driver, like Sheldon Creed gets his 15th second place finish.
It's an insane stat.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
In four full seasons, he's got 8 wins in trucks, a handful in ARCA, no wins in Xfinity, but in 4 full-time seasons, he's got 15 second-place finishes. I mean, after a while, I don't know.
What were you going to say after a while? What?
You just want to tell Almirola, stop fucking showing up, right? Like, retire or don't retire, or be full-time or don't be full-time. That kind of thing.
I don't know. I like when some guys just, like would you say that about Ryan Truex?
No, because he doesn't ride as often as, and Ryan Truex is dying to be in a. If you gave Ryan Truex the opportunity to have a full-time ride, he would jump on it. I think he'd jump on it in lesser equipment.
Sure.
Eric Almirola is not looking for a full-time ride. He's riding Joe Gibbs equipment, right? He's getting all this sweet shit, and he gets to take 4 weeks off in between races sometimes.
Yeah. I guess I see your argument.
A little bit, right? Yeah, and I have nothing against Almirola.
No, I just think these guys should be able to race as long as they want, especially if they're going to be winning races and competitive.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. He was the first interview I've ever did.
Really?
We were at Daytona with Dave that year. It's before he started doing the show, and I was doing Barstool Finance, and NASCAR reached out and said that he was a day trader. He trades like some stuff back and forth. So the first interview I did was for Barstool Finance, was with Eric Almirola talking about day trading. First one. I don't think we've ever had him on the show.
No. We should get him on to talk day trading and bowling.
Sure. Yeah, exactly.
He sounds like a really interesting guy.
Well, then you are misheard him. He's boring as shit. No, I'm just kidding. Eric, just shout out. Otherwise, we switch over to Cup Saturday night. Saturday was such a packed day for everybody. I had Pizza Fest during the day. Randall's Island, absolutely beautiful. I've been to Randall's Island since like Lollapalooza, and great fucking day.
Cool.
Way too much fucking pizza. Everything was perfect. Notre Dame, Texas A&M, Bristol night race, Canelo fight. I mean, everything was going on Saturday night, and I thought that it kind of tucked in real well, having that race going on the whole time. But even their viewership had dipped too, because it was one of those things where people had so much shit to watch. I think that it just kind of hurts NASCAR.
Once football starts, it's
tough.
Like, I hate to say it, we're a NASCAR show. It should be our top priority. My level of like priorities, like NASCAR, it's still like watching every race, but I care so much about football that it's like we might be doing a quad box with the race on. Like, I need to watch football.
No, I definitely agree.
And I feel like a lot of people feel that way.
I think that is the reason why the viewership is kind of lessened. There was, like you said, Large, there was so much going on this weekend. I think a lot of people maybe tuned in for sure, but then at the same time, like Quig said, had it on a second screen or also had other stuff going on where they were tuning in just to catch parts of it. So
1.56 million viewers, down from 1.86 million last year. It was still the weekend's number 2 sport on cable behind college football, but we were talking about it briefly before we started the show. Should this just end September 1st? I mean, Jacob's like, do you want to make Labor Day weekend NASCAR championship weekend type? Because you can still get away with it maybe that first week. I know purists will say stop taking away races because we race all of September and all of October and a tiny bit of November, but I don't think that's much to ask. I think it would be like, I don't know what the downside is, except it would put a ton of people out of business. Like the people who work in the stadiums, at the tracks. Obviously, it hurts them precipitously, so I'm not going to really bang the drum on this. But sometimes I think people get that I'm just done with it. Like, I'm ready to move on since we've been on here, a whirlwind since fucking February. Maybe I want to jump off in September and start on another whirlwind with football.
I'm not I'm here for, I want as many sports going and as many times, but there is like the argument of people hate the NASCAR playoffs, and it's always had criticism, and it does kind of line up. Playoffs start kind of when football starts, and it's like, do you maybe go back a regular season and make it the same length it is now, and every race means a little bit more? But no, like, I'm still pro have a race every weekend, and maybe I just it's less of the priority for that day than it is earlier in the season.
I tend to agree with Quiggs. I do think it would be interesting hypothetically, like if someone made a schedule of what it would look like if this were to exist. So like maybe some of these tracks are, just getting cut down to one date from 2, and just see what that would look like. Obviously it's not going to happen. I think
it'll never happen.
It's a good thing that NASCAR has so many races, because then it allows new TV partners to get involved, like we saw Amazon this year. So that's all great, and that's a great sign of the health of the sport. But I do kind of agree and see some of the concern like you guys mentioned, like once football starts, it's hard to simultaneously follow NASCAR playoffs when it's like, NASCAR season at the highest point, the most important time.
It's the only sport that I know of where people pay less attention as the season goes on.
Yeah.
Like I figured you can sneak into college football if you start watching in December sometimes, right? Everything's out of the way. Notre Dame's 0-2. Like, okay, now I can get in with a little NASCAR. It's like if you're not tuning into Daytona and a couple of first weekend races, everybody does that because there's nothing. It's a vacuum created by football. I don't know. Taking advantage of the other side of that vacuum before it turns back on.
Yeah.
No, I think they do a great job of that.
Yeah.
I mean, Daytona 500 is like one of the biggest races. Obviously, it is the biggest race of the year, and that's the first race. So you have stuff like that. You have, All-Star race, and then you have Mexico City. There's so many cool things in-season tournament throughout the actual season before playoffs that could captivate people in itself. So we are
Is
lucky.
it bad that I'm going to ask Zane? I'm going to say, Zane, if we take away the clash, right? We move Daytona to the week before Super Bowl. Then that would be your week off. And then you go straight through without those other 2 weeks off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That creates,
I think
that
that's a
creates
great
three more
question.
weeks of racing. 3 more weeks of racing that you're taking off the back end. And then you end, second week in September. I wonder. And then all of a sudden, all the stuff about playoffs and if we had the full points thing versus this might be moot because we'd still have that, we're running towards the playoffs now and the only thing we're against is fucking baseball.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I would have to think, like, whether or not they say it, I'm sure all of them would want a shorter season. Like, that's got to be one of their bigger complaints is, like, it feels like they have no off season. I'm sure everyone deep down would love to be.
Except their money would go down, maybe, right? I mean, if we can't pay them as much,
I would think so.
And maybe it just hurts the tracks. I'm essentially putting vendors out of business by even bringing this up. I'm still gonna ask Shane what the fuck.
Yeah, this is like we're also a NasCar podcast. So
I know, like
get rid of the races. Like we're done with it.
Yeah, and in Briscoe even I was like, hey, less laps. He was like, yeah, maybe. I don't know what the fuck I'm
people are
trying to
gonna
do
love
here.
this.
I apologize. Everybody was on fire, particularly the Fords this weekend. Literally, Josh Berry being the worst. Josh Berry is now the unluckiest man alive. He took it from Ryan Blaney. I know I'd mentioned that last week. I feel bad for the guy. He's a fucking wheelman. Two out of the 3 races that he's run in the playoffs, it wasn't really his fault. He did fuck up on one, but still, to come in and be in the playoffs and finish dead last, 38th, 36th, and 39th, and then have your car catch on fire. I wouldn't let Josh Berry hold my kid right now. No. It just seems like he's got a little voodoo shit going on, and I feel terrible for him and for Wood Brothers because they said that they didn't have a legitimate guy in the playoffs last year with Harrison Burton, and Harrison got pushed out first round. I was really hoping that he would do something just to legitimize the program a little bit, and he did the exact opposite. It might be historic the way that this guy has absolutely laid a fucking turd in the punch bowl during the playoffs.
I think it's going to turn around though. You look at like Harrison Burton, and again, I love Harrison Burton. I'm not trying to take a shot at him. Like you said, his win was like kind of spontaneous. I don't know what the word is.
Yeah, it's
unexpected.
Right.
So like, whereas Josh Berry, I feel like his win was like, all right, I deserve my spot in the playoffs. Again, I'm not saying Harrison Burton did not deserve his spot in the playoffs. Yeah. It's one of the most emotional, awesome stories that we saw. I'm just saying, moving forward, I think Josh Berry has proven that he's got speed and the potential and is capable of doing this time and time again and making future playoff appearances.
And even he said after the race, the way that tire wear was, I would have fucking killed it. I'm paraphrasing, obviously. He wouldn't have said that on it.
Right.
And I really believe that. So, I don't know. It's a shame what's going on with this guy. Still Josh Berry fan, but holy cow, he shit the bed. This was a good race. 36 lead changes between 14 drivers. I, at one point, was rooting for Ty Gibbs. Obviously, I was rooting for Carson pretty hard. Zane was up there for a while.
Yeah.
And then Brad. Annie, I was watching it with my wife. She's like, who would you want to win here? I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Any one of these fucking people.
The young core was up front for a lot of that race.
I would tell you who I probably didn't want to win, and that's Chris Bell. Not because I hate Chris Bell, but I would rather have seen a Ty Gibbs, Carson Hocevar, Zane, or Brad K win.
It's a great crew to be just bumping into each other trying to get a win.
Yeah.
We had Corey Heim finish P6 for God's sake.
That was awesome. To see Corey Heim win that,
any of those
fucking awesome.
Any of those names you mentioned, Larch, that would have been scenes.
So if you look at it, Brad finished second, Zane third, Blaney, who won stage 1, Joey, Corey Heim 6th, man. You'd said it right off the jump. Carson, Alex Bowman, seen him come in. I'm done with Chase Briscoe. Fuck that guy. Kidding. Thank you so much for spending time with us last week, Chase. He's one of our favorites. And then Ty Gibbs, who, had that little glitch, but otherwise he was out in front, ran a great race, and he won stage 2.
Yeah.
But either way, Chris Bell now has 4 regular wins this season. I say that because he also won the All-Star race. So he has 4 wins plus a check for $1 million, and that's his best win total of his career for a single season. So Christopher Bell decides to forget that Jesus is watching, and he drops an F-bomb over the radio the week before. Then he comes back. It snapped everybody into fucking, right? Snapped everybody to attention. I think it made a difference.
Yeah.
Guy doesn't do it. I drop more F-bombs in mass than this guy does in his whole fucking life, and it came to fruition. So I'm happy for him. I'm happy for his team. And Joe Gibbs Racing now has swept the first round of the Cup Series playoffs and also picked themselves up at least 1 win in Xfinity Series. Go ahead.
I'm curious for you guys. Christopher Bell, we had him on the show earlier this year after he rattled off 3 wins in a row. Until then, not to say he's been racing poorly, but he hasn't been winning. Not to say, But my question is, do you think that this makes Christopher Bell more comfortable now? Obviously, given that he has a win, it had been so long since he won. Now going into the playoffs.
Absolutely. And I think going to a place like New Hampshire, where he's a defending champ, and he's won twice before, and then you look at we're going to talk about the odds. I think he's only plus 350.
Yeah.
Going into this thing. He's an
overwhelming favorite.
Yeah. So,
in years past, we've seen Joe Gibbs rattle off wins early and then go dormant. So I feel like now, as you said, they swept the first round of the playoffs, and now Christopher Bell in that company as well. I think things are looking really, really good for Joe Gibbs.
Because Henrik seems like that dormant, sleeping giant now.
Yeah.
Penske, we expect to get scrappy.
Yep.
And I think Joe Gibbs has got him right where they want him, at least right now. And, Christopher Bell talked that shit.
Yeah.
Got out of his car. This one's for Charlie. Crowd went fucking crazy, which was kind of cool to watch.
Yeah.
And then, kind of did his thing. I mean, whatever. Congratulations to him and his team. Whatever they were doing wrong, they seem to have fixed. And we know the momentum is a hell of a thing. We talk about it with Briscoe and Bubba just about every week. But that momentum has clearly shifted. Look at me trying to manipulate my fucking thing right now. Clearly shift over to the 20 team. There was a last lap bump from Keselowski. Christopher Bell and Keselowski were racing hard with each other. I think Chris Bell always chooses 99 times out of 100 to race clean, including this weekend. I think Brad K chooses maybe to race clean 98 times out of 100. You know what I mean? If that was Carson Hocevar who did that to Bell and Bell recovered, we'd be having a totally different conversation. I haven't listened to many people call Brad K a scumbag for that move since it had happened on Saturday night. What do you guys think? Scumbag move from Brad, just tough racing, act of desperation, or nothing at all? You will never shit on Brad. You will never shit on Brad K.
But I don't think, I don't know, maybe biased, but I don't think he does it they were bumping and banging all race, that as many cautions as there's ever been there. You want the last lap to be the one where they're like, all right, we're not doing contact here. It's a physical race. I don't mind a little.
We know where Brad is, though.
Yeah.
We know where Kyle Busch and Brad Keselowski are. They need a fucking win.
Yeah.
That's all that they need. So I wouldn't expect him to run that 100% clean. I guess it's douchebag and scumbag is a very strong word to say when you're talking about a guy like Brad K, because he is one of the more decent guys on the circuit. But I don't know. I thought he got a little bit aggressive there.
I'm with Quiggs. I mean, listen, it's Bristol. It's at the end of the race. These guys are going for the win. I think that's justified.
Okay, the 77 does it. You think we're having the same conversation? No one's talked about it.
Well,
I'm trying to make a mountain out of a molehill. That's all I'm trying to do.
I think you're arguing kind of to my point.
Yeah.
The 77 does that a lot when it's not race-winning circumstances. So if he were to do it, people would be like, oh, it's same old Carson Hocevar. Brad K, on the other hand, who you said would be 98 times out of 100 clean, is like, all right, sure, the one time he might not, be clean is for a win in the playoffs. So, I mean, I think it's justified.
14 cautions for 137 yellow flag laps. It's the most cautions and the most caution laps of the year. I was cooking during it, and it all kind of happened in the middle.
What were you cooking?
I did a Sunday sauce on a Saturday because I had the late night flight, the whole deal. So I was up till 3. I was blogging the fucking Canelo thing till 3 a.m. No big deal. But it was just one of those things where I was cooking during the race, and so I wasn't affected because once they went yellow, I'd get up and just start stirring, doing a whole bunch of other stuff. So it really was a perfect race for me. But I can understand if people were upset that I think watching. Listening to Actions Detrimental, Denny had thrown out that it was nearly 2 hours of the broadcast was spent under caution. For a very good race, that's a lot of fucking cautions.
That's why you put the Texas A&M game on the double box.
Why would you want to do that? I think terrible fucking
that
game to watch.
That also has something to do with probably the decline in viewership.
I think so. It's easy to switch away.
Yeah.
Caution.
It's like
previous channel.
Every time the race goes to yellow or even commercial, it's an opportunity for someone to stop watching. And there seems to be more and more of those the longer we do this.
Yeah, and I think, too, like, going back to Last Channel, with so many people not having traditional cable anymore, it's like you got to almost get out of the app to go to the other one unless you have multiple TVs set up in the house. It's no longer a picture-in-picture type thing. Is Goodyear to blame for all the cautions? Should Goodyear have a bag of flaming dog shit on their doorstep for the cautions, or should Goodyear get the flowers for having such a great fucking race? Because it was the tires that made the difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they should get flowers. I mean, I also think a lot of times people just look to the tires to solve problems that are probably NASCAR's fault with some of the design of the car. Mm-hmm. We hear drivers often ask about more horsepower or, different modifications they would make to the cars. And a lot of times NASCAR's answer to it is, oh, let's just do something with the tires. So I do think Goodyear has a tough task, and they seemingly do a good job. So I'm giving them flowers.
Okay.
I'm pro. I mean, I guess you could make the argument that, like, the playoffs isn't the time to do it, but I love heavy tire wear races that make people make tough decisions, and it'd be great if there was a world where you could be like, we're going to have heavy tire wear, but nobody's going to just randomly blow a tire and not be fair that their day's over, but that's a part of, if you have heavy tire wear, there's going to be more issues, but I love it. It makes for so much better strategy and decision making. I'm pro.
We're across the board then, because I remember we were sitting here in the spring race where Larson got out in front and led almost every lap. And it was one of those boring things with no passing. Yeah. I mean, this created, even though the majority of the cautions weren't related necessarily to tires blowing, it did relate to people driving a little bit different because they were on those softer tires. So it was the cause of everything, but I think that the positive far outweighs the negative. Yeah. Give me that twice a year at Bristol.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think, do something to make New Hampshire more interesting this week too. I'll put it in Goodyear's lap to make racing better if nobody else will.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah.
Where else are you throwing flowers after this race? Spider, who do you like? Who'd you like after this week?
I mean, Corey Heim, unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
P6, gotta tip your cap there. So yeah, he was up there for sure for me. Obviously Zane Smith, P3, who we're going to speak to, and then Ty Gibbs in the top 10 as well. Hocevar, I guess, P7, but that's kind of becoming the norm, I feel like, is to see him up there. So it'd be the other guys. Outside of that, I mean, Justin Haley finished 13th. I feel like that's pretty good relative to where he's typically running. So that's what I got off the rip.
I thought Chase, he was the lowest qualifying playoff driver.
Yeah.
Came through the field pretty well, led some laps, and finished in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think, Chase Briscoe continues, whereas Chase Elliott is not as impressive to me week in and week out as Chase Briscoe is. So there's a bunch of people, and then obviously Joe Gibbs got all the momentum in the world going into New Hampshire and Kansas, both good Toyota tracks.
Yep.
And then everyone's just giving up on the ROVAL. SVG's just going to win that. Yeah. Bag of dog shit. Who do you give a bag of dog shit to? I know you don't like to be overly negative, but is there anybody that's on your radar?
I actually got one.
Go.
I'll give it to
Please be the same guy.
The fire guy.
Oh,
the guy in charge of putting out the fire was so slow. The Josh Berry fire.
Yeah.
And like he had no sense of urgency. It wasn't really a surprise that he was coming in with a fire. Like that guy should have been ready. And
the radio guy was going nuts.
Yeah.
The spotter or the crew chief, he was like, "Do not fire first, fire first."
Fire guy is part of the team or part of NASCAR?
No fucking idea.
He's got to be part of NASCAR.
I think it's part of NASCAR.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like, I think Barry's goal was like get this fire out. I'm staying in the car, and it's just like no help. And next thing you know, you see Barry like on the wall, being like, looking like he almost died in there, trying to like wait it out. But yeah, I'll light a bag of dog shit for that guy.
I hear, Spider, you got any negativity from it? If you don't, I have a couple.
No,
I have one in particular.
Did you guys real quick? Did you see Ryan Blaney's radio got hacked by
that was
like
awesome.
Yeah,
that was his like nephew.
Yeah, his nephew. It was really wholesome clip I saw. But yeah, nothing comes to mind. Just good things. Like shout out to that kid who did that. I forget his name, but
I don't know. But because Gianna has a headset,
scanner.
and she never knew that there was an open. Like she could talk to Ryan. She has the same headset that the crew chief has.
Yeah.
But they've never pressed it. They just thought it was a dead button. So they gave it to like a 4-year-old, I think her cousin. And so he was like, "Hey, Uncle Ryan." And he was like, "Somebody get Jimmy off the fucking radio," or something like that. It was very, very adorable.
He's like, "Mom, get him off the mic."
Yeah. Kyle Larson led 0 laps at Bristol after he dominated the track in spring.
Yeah.
He's checkers her records lately, Kyle Larson. I'm hoping everybody else fucking notices this, not just me. And SVG was the winningest driver to get bounced in the first round. The people who are at the bottom of the bubble, SVG, Bowman, Dillon, and Berry, honestly, a couple of these guys, I'd seen some stats from NASCAR Insights. They just had to be like P15. They didn't even need top 10 finishes, and they all shit the fucking bed. The first round, the bottom of the first round, I know they tried to make it a little bit more competitive on TV, and I like the drama and whatnot, and seeing Bowman into the wall in the second race and all that shit, but it wasn't close at all. SVG, Bowman, Dillon, and Berry were the clear not pick of the litter, and so they were fucking gone. So we're going to say now, before we move on, the tire wear is not a gimmick, right? They like to throw around the idea of gimmicks, but if you're calling that tire wear stuff a gimmick for this race, then you can call gimmicks on just about everything else that NASCAR does, including super speedway racing, which we already put an asterisk on it today because we were talking about Harrison Burton's win. Yep. So, I mean, if they want to do that for tire wear, I don't think it's a fair thing to do, and it created a great, great race for me. Bristol is a little bit different because drivers get to pick their walkout music. I'd seen the list of everyone's walkout music. None of it really turned me on. Denny Hamlin coming out to the Law and Order theme, like he purposely picked that. Is he poking the fucking bear here? We're on the precipice of a lawsuit that could change this sport forever. Honestly, for fucking ever. And there are lawyers who are making millions off of Denny Hamlin, Michael Jordan, and NASCAR. Is this like something where he should just maybe shut the fuck up and know what he's doing here? Or does the triviality of this appeal to you? I don't know where I stand on this.
I kind of like it. I mean,
you?
Denny's always been a troll. This is like on brand for him, I feel like. Just leaning into it. And I feel like he always does that. If he's getting booed, he leans into it after he wins a race and, makes a joke towards the fans. So it's very on brand for him, in my opinion.
Yeah, so to come out to the dum-dum. Jacob, you okay? Yeah.
Our producer just died, guys.
Green Boys.
I have a Law and Order question.
Go.
So is the theme song for Law and Order and Law and Order SVU the same?
I think.
Or was that because I've only watched. So I only watch SVU, and I was like,
wow, that's
kind of weird that he's doing the Special Victims.
That's a hill to die on. I think it's across the board.
Oh, that's not.
I think all the Dick Wolf
SVU
stuff
is the only one worth watching.
Oh, is it really?
I never watched any of this shit show.
Which one has Mariska Hargitay?
SVU.
And Ice-T?
Yep.
Okay. Richard Belzer and shit.
That
like that.
and then CSI. The only one worth watching is CSI Miami.
CSI Miami. I hear you. So you're not the Jerry Orbach fan?
No.
Learning a lot about Quiggs today.
We should start reviewing TV shows.
Yeah.
I'm down.
Anything on your radar TVs wise, Quiggs, before we move on?
I guess I'll stick with that era of like those crime shows. There was a show I watched back in the day called Numbers, which was a guy who basically solved crime using math, and I
Yes.
loved it. It's probably so bad, but it just fit in my wheelhouse of like my interests. I bet that show sucks, but I love that show.
I hear you. So we're down at a round of 12. I put up the graphic here. Let's do it right now. Who's not making it out of the round of 12?
Wait, real quick. Did
Go.
we have a first 4 out? Did we give our
We never
picks?
did that.
We
so
should
what
do that
we
next
did,
year.
we have a final 4. We each took our final 4, and I thought I'd give you guys an opportunity to change the final 4 every now and again.
Yep.
And we're all still alive, the 4 of us, including Moonhead. We're all still alive on our final 4 picks, so I think it's something that we won't talk about until after this round. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So going into it, and we didn't do it for the first round, I want you guys to give me your bottom 4 for going forward. I said 4 a lot there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, you go, Spider. I'm not.
I mean, first off the rip, I hate to say it, but Austin Cindric, he's going to be in my bottom 4 out. Probably him and Ross Chastain. Maybe it's because they're literally on the bottom of the graphic, but the rest of these guys are so good.
Yeah.
And, I don't know where I would start trimming the fat from there. I would say maybe like...
It's a stacked 12.
Yeah.
It is a stacked 12.
My next 2 picks, I don't think people are going to like.
No. You have to hurt feelings at this point in the season.
I think it would be Chase Elliott and Tyler Reddick.
Okay.
Chase has been super consistent. Reddick, I feel like, has been having his... Bubba, to me, has been what I thought Reddick would be this year. And Bubba's been super exceeding my expectations down the line. So I can't cut him. Bell obviously has momentum. And then the rest of Joe Gibbs, I like. Blaney, Logano, you can't write off. Maybe Larson. I don't have him in my championship 4. That would be super spicy, but
That would be.
I think it would. If gun to my head right now, it'd probably be Cindric out first, Ross second, Reddick third, Chase fourth.
Okay.
I'm gonna have some guys that you don't think should be on here, but I'm gonna get rid of Joey.
No, can't do it in the playoffs.
Chase Briscoe.
No.
Below the cut. I think for the reason you think he's staying in, I think the opposite. Christopher Bell. You say he has momentum. I think Christopher Bell gets wins and then hides for 15 races and then gets a win, hides for 15 races.
Or he gets a win and then 2 more right after.
One more. Cindric, Chastain.
By the way, this is a spicy list. Yours is not really chalky. I'm not saying that because you usually pick towards the bottom of it. But you're saying now Ross Chastain, Christopher Bell going into the first race of the second round as the returning champion and with momentum. You're saying Joey Logano. Yep. And the fourth one was who?
Chase Briscoe.
Was Chase Briscoe, who everyone thinks has the most momentum in the playoffs. That's spicy. That's a lot. I mean, I was going to take Chastain out of it. I'm the only one that doesn't have Chastain getting out, blown out this round because I think he could win. He could win this week. I think Chastain could win there, could win in Kansas. I'm going to keep Chastain in. I'm going to put Chase Elliott in there. I can't believe you don't have Elliott. You have Elliott making it through this one.
Yeah, but that's what Elliott does. He's 7th in the standings.
Yeah.
He's going to come out this week, and he'll be 6th after this race.
Right.
And he won't do anything remarkable, and then he'll be 4th after the next race, and then they'll go to the ROVAL, and he'll somehow be 2nd in standings without
he'll do
even
enough.
doing anything.
I think one bad race though just dooms people, and 100%. I think in this round it's even more. I think this is the toughest round just because of the ROVAL being put in there, and me just kind of saying the ROVAL is automatically SVGs, which is stupid to say, but still, that's why I'm taking Elliott. I think Elliott gets bounced. I think Cindric gets bounced. Cindric is not on your card either, Quicks?
No. I have Cindric advancing.
You have Cindric advancing. I have Cindric not getting out, neither does Spider. So I'm Elliott, Cindric, Reddick, and Logano, my guy. I'm taking Logano to not get out of this round. So those are the 4 that we expect not to get out of the round of 12 as we whittle it down to 8. And then in my personal opinion, I think the first race of the round of 8 is the most important playoff race because then you can just spend 2 weeks getting ready for Phoenix. All the pressure is off you. All right, headlines. Speed Cafe reporting there are talks of Connor Zilic going to Australia to run supercars. It would be Chevy's counter to Ford's Austin Cindric deal with a one-off Adelaide outing, and the prospect was discussed on Will Brown and Brody Kostecki's Lucky Dogs podcast last week. Will Brown, we've seen him come over and try his hand at cup racing before. Yeah. Right?
Both of them, I think. They
drive on the right. The doors do open, which is good for Connor Zilic. Like, he can actually open the door at the end and get out without any kind of injury. But otherwise, this is a terrible fucking idea. This is a terrible idea to send him to a fucking country where everything's poisonous, especially a guy who rips his pants sliding down the hood of a car. Don't you think Connor Zilic is officially in bubble wrap? Like, if you owned Connor Zilic, the right to Connor Zilic, you would keep this kid in fucking bubble wrap as soon as he gets out of the car?
Yeah, Australia does seem like probably one of the last places I would send him. But I'm actually interested to see how he would do in this opportunity. I feel like if he
can win it,
if he goes and
so
if he goes and wins, sure, like what that would do in terms of how that would kind of tie into the conversation when it comes to people judging how good SVG is, where to rank his accomplishments and previous body of work, etc.
There were so many Aussies in the comments saying, wait till he get to turn 8. Supposedly turn 8 in Adelaide is like one of those Widowmaker type turns. I'm like, no, don't put him in fucking turn 8. You know what I mean? He can't go off road on that thing. You know? So I don't know. It just scares the shit out of me. I'm getting a little bit overprotective of this young man. So we've seen 2 weeks in a row, or at least NASCAR is putting a camera angle on it 2 weeks in a row. Last week they were talking in Gateway where all the Trackhouse guys went onto the infield to pick up some dirt so they'd weigh a little bit more in the post-race stuff.
Yep.
This week they showed SVG. They showed Chris Bell doing a little bit, William Byron and a couple others that went against the inside wall in the cool down just to pick up all that rubber to gain weight. It's cheating, right? Like it's not something that they're supposed to do, but it's accepted. Should I make a big deal out of this? I wanted to make a big deal when Joey had the webbing in the fingers of his gloves.
Right.
This seems worse to me, but everyone's like, no, it's just the way that NASCAR works.
I mean, listen, how much rubber could they potentially pick up in a cool down lap?
5 pounds.
Is that really what it is?
Yeah.
I mean,
I love it.
That's more than I would have anticipated, to be honest. It seemed like this would be like a marginal, like negligible amount that you wouldn't even be able to tell the difference on. But obviously they're doing it if there's a reason. 5 pounds is greater than what I thought it would be. I don't know. I don't really have an issue with it.
If everyone's allowed to do it, then everyone should do it.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
But it freaks me out that 6 guys every time, or 2 or 3. It freaks me out when the Trackhouse guys go off track and do it in the infield. That didn't happen this week, obviously, because we're in Bristol. But that seemed more egregious last week.
That feels more cheating.
And even Bowman is like, Trackhouse guy, like Bowman told on him on his radio. He was like, oh, look at Trackhouse guys. Oh, that's funny. You know, so this week didn't seem like it. I'm keeping my eye on it now because I didn't know it was a thing until this year. I never fucking heard of it.
Yeah.
And so much so that I know it's 5 pounds, and that could be a lie, too.
I like the idea of this becoming a thing that, like, everyone's like, oh, we should do this. Like, we can drop the weight, we'll pick it up at the end, and next year, everyone doing it, and there's not enough rubber, and, like, a bunch of them get don't pass inspection.
What the fuck is that metal that...
Tungsten?
Yeah, I joined that club.
Good guess.
Right? Yeah. So I have a tungsten membership card. You have one too, right?
I'm not in the tungsten club, no, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have it because Ken Jack and KB and all those guys. And when I went to the fabrication shop at Joe Gibbs, the guy was showing me some of the old ways that they put the tungsten in. They bring tungsten bars with them, and they just basically stick them in just to get the weight to where it needs to be. Obviously, it's illegal to do it after the race or whatnot. So they're essentially adding, I don't know, that kind of fascinates me. I think it's part of NASCAR that people don't pay attention to, and I'm going to start to pay attention to a lot more. Door bumper clear. We got Shane coming up in just a couple of minutes, but I just wanted to get your guys' take on this. Latest playoff tweak prediction. DBC door bumper clear, which, who's the other guy? Jordan Bianchi went on last week to say how they were going to tweak the playoffs. They followed up on it this week saying that they're hearing there's going to be a championship 6. So instead of the championship 4, they'll have the championship 6. They'll start with the 16 drivers, 3 races, ditch 5. 3 more races, ditch 5. So they're left with the championship 6, and those guys will then race over the course of 4 races to decide a champion. Do you think that's going to fix, or do you think that's going to quiet all the people who have problems with it? You know, is it going to make people happy?
No.
I don't think NASCAR fans are ever going to be happy. I don't know that this would be the solution I had in mind. In my opinion, I think the 4 in the final 4 is fine. The championship 4 is kind of like has its place every year. You know, that's like, it's like the final 4 in March Madness. Like, that is the term. That's where you want to be. Now, that being said, if you move it to 6, I don't think people are really asking for that. What they're asking for is that the final round be a round rather than just one race. So, like, this is halfway there. I just don't know that adding 2 more drivers into the mix and kind of changing it slightly other than that is going to satisfy people. Quiggs?
Just the finals taking an entire month is crazy.
Yeah.
It's hard to
So what do you think? I mean, you think
momentum.
one race?
I mean, one race kind of isn't fair, but, like, in order to have it feel like a moment and feel like the championship and have a little juice behind it, you can't stretch that over a month. And I bet you're probably going into that 4th race kind of already knowing who the champion's going to be, as long as they don't fuck something up. Like, I don't see it being exciting. You could maybe say it's more fair, but I don't think that's an exciting way to
It's a step in the right direction, though. Like, to now have more races means, like, Spider's like the one race to decide a champion pisses everybody off.
Yeah.
So now you're going from it being 1 to being 4 races, and NASCAR changes their playoffs all the time. So maybe next time it'll be like 12 We're going back towards the chase, which I think would make most people happy, or at least have to be happy because that's all they were asking for. So I think it's a step in the right direction if we can, like, get that. All right, so then we'll put a pin in all that stuff for right now because we do have Zane Smith on the line. Let's go 3 wide with Zane Smith, and it's brought to you by Dive Bomb. Again, if you're watching right now, Spider's modeling Dive Bomb for us, and he's doing a fantastic job. Dive Bomb Industries gear is designed to perform in the toughest conditions. They make products for outdoorsmen, the hunter, and the sportsman, and they have golf polos and everyday wear. Again, look at this. Look at the fit on this guy. So on top of the golf shirts and all this stuff that I think looks as sexy as hell, we were in ice cold water in Missouri in like January or whatever shooting ducks, and we were dry as can be, sound as a pound, snug as a bug, whatever you want to say. This is the legitimate stuff. So if you're a hunter or you just want to look good, I think there's one place for you to go, and that's Dive Bomb Industries. So check out Dive Bomb Industries at divebombindustries.com. It's one of those websites where you can just kind of poke around and find something for everybody. So visit divebombindustries.com and use code Rubbin15 at checkout, and you get a free
headlamp.
You get a little something for yourself at
I got a headlamp from their large. It's awesome.
Did you get a headlamp?
Yeah.
You don't get a free headlamp. Is that
true?
You don't get a free
No, you don't.
headlamp.
I'm saying use Rubbin 15 to get
a
yourself.
headlamp.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Imagine all of a sudden they get a bunch of like orders from polos. Like, where the fuck is the headlamp that Spider brought me? We're very close with the guys from Dive Bomb Industries. I went around St. Louis trying fried raviolis with them. Just a good group of people. Great business and great products. Check out divebombindustries.com and use code Rubbin15 and you'll get a little something off the headlamp that you'll eventually get at checkout. And with that, let's talk to Zane Smith. So as promised, we got Zane Smith here coming off a fucking fantastic performance last week in Bristol in a race that gave everybody what they wanted, except maybe a few too many cautions, but you can't be too picky. Zane, congratulations on the performance last week. How you doing, my man?
Good, yeah. It was a fun Saturday night for us. It was a lot of chaos, but yeah, that was probably the most fun Bristol race I've ever had.
Give me an idea of where you feel you are in your development as a cup driver. We ask drivers all the time to give themselves a letter grade for where they are in this season and what they do next season to sort of bump that letter grade up because no one's given us an A+ yet. Where do you feel you are as far as giving yourself a grade for this season, and what do you think is going to be different as you go forward?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I guess I would shoot myself around a B, but I don't know if you'll ever get like an A+ from any of us because something could always be better. But
Logano would give himself an A+ all the time, just so you know. That guy is a crazy son of a bitch.
Yeah. I guess going through our year, we've unloaded with really good speed, and I feel like underrated speed. And then, there's just been some things that just don't really fall our way, it seems like. But looking at pretty much all the analytics of it, we rank pretty well in a lot of different areas. And so I feel there's a lot to be proud of. And I feel like I'd be in a way different position in points right now. I know some people would try to go off of that, but, August was a rough month for us of just getting wrecked, I think 3 weeks in a row. And so when you get put into that hole pretty much, it's just so hard to battle back from that this late in the year, and just in the Cup Series. And so kind of going through some of that right now, but I've been really just proud of like how we've been able to rebound with, it's hard to keep a team and a group fired up and still bringing good cars to the racetrack. And I feel like we've accomplished that. And so proud of that effort. And then, just this past weekend at Bristol, we raced inside the top 5 all night long in just a crazy race, and then ultimately had a shot to win it. I wish it stayed green there because I feel we were in the winning position. I felt it was going to come down to myself and the 48, which we were already at that time kind of battling it out. And then, just that caution fell, and knew that we were in a rough position just because I knew the 20 and I forget who else had tires, and obviously tires were gold that night, and to line up on a late race restart with 2 guys going for a Cup win and tires lined up behind you, it's going to be tough to hold off.
So, Zane, I was watching. I was, like, pretty impressed. 70 laps in, I was like, oh, my God, Zane's got speed. He could win this race. At what point did you realize that was on the table? Was it when you were qualifying? Was it during the race at some point? And, I mean, what was the reason behind all that speed? Was it unexpected from your perspective as well?
Yeah, I mean, kind of judging off of practice, and really hard to go off of qualifying because we had to go out early because Gateway wasn't good to us. But in practice, I knew that we had pretty good speed. I think I was around 6th on lap averages, and so that always builds a little bit of confidence there. But then going into the race, I don't think any of us expected it to be quite like that. And we got like 30 laps into a run maybe, and my spotter actually told me that the track was kind of starting to marble up, and I didn't really listen to it because I didn't feel like my car was changing at all. And then, man, it was like 5 laps later, just right sides recorded, got down pit road, and I instantly just went into tire save mode and managing my car for how it would be later in the run. And ultimately that paid off for us. How our balance was really good for me to be able to feel that when I needed to get down on a pit road, and just, it was a constant just cycle of that. And so there would be guys that would, I don't know, charge by you every single run, burn their stuff up, and you'd see them like 15 laps later. And then there's guys that were on our side of it. And so, it was an interesting race, a ton of fun. I think that style of racing needs to be a little bit more often in our sport versus just qualifying laps probably 100% of the time. I feel like that could get a little boring, but with that, I mean, that was freaking chaos.
When I thought you had a chance of winning during driver intros when you came out to Tupac, I thought that was an interesting choice from you. Is there any other songs that you had on the wish list? You're the only person that came out to Tupac, to be honest with you. Any other songs that you had on your wish list? And can I give you one? Insane in the Membrane by Cypress Hill.
Ooh.
Don't you think, like, in Zane in the Membrane, it's
that.
It adds to that so
That's
easily.
smart.
Can you give that some consideration for the next race, maybe? All right,
for
cool.
sure. You know, what always pisses you off is, like, you walk up there and, like, this is probably the most the drivers probably talk during driver intros of just like, what's your song? And man, I feel like you hear someone's song, you're like, damn it, why didn't I pick that? And I always got back to the car, or you get back to the car and you're like, man, I should have done this or that. But man, one my wife and I talked about was Bright Side by the Killers,
Right.
and then give them a go Bills after the end of it. I feel like I would have gotten Bristol pretty fired up, maybe.
Yes.
So
I like that.
it would have been cool.
Speaking of the Bills, how do you feel about them this year? Super Bowl. I know you're a big Bills guy. What are your expectations for
Yeah,
them?
it's been a lot of fun to watch. You know, they got Miami this weekend, and so yeah, I mean, it's been. Uh, I mean, it started out the season about as crazy as it'll get, so I don't know if they'll be able to top that, but yeah, I mean, I got the faith in them, and I mean, it would be so cool. I got to go up to training camp. I don't know what that was, probably about a month ago, and do a suit and jersey swap with Dion, and yeah, that was sick. It was so cool to see that up close and experience that. So throughout the off season, I'm gonna try to get to a game. I got invited to go to that Ravens game, and obviously once it happened, I was so bummed out, wasn't able to make that, but hopefully in the near future.
Is there a NASCAR fantasy league that you're part of?
No, some of my team they got one going on, but yeah, must have missed the invite on that one.
Damn.
You mentioned your wife just a couple of seconds ago. Kyle Busch's wife has a podcast, and I'm telling you, it's not safe for work. Samantha gets up there and she talks about how Kyle comes in and maybe is a little bit aggressive and takes out some of his aggressions on her undercarriage. It's kind of wild to listen to. I talk about my wife every now and again. I do a podcast with her, this history podcast too, and we sometimes get a little bit naughty, but this is kind of over the edge. How do you feel about that? How do you feel about getting in front of a microphone with your wife at some point and just kind of letting it all hang out?
Yeah, man. I mean, you probably won't see that out of me and my wife on a live mic. But yeah, I mean, it's no doubt pretty gnarly for sure. And I mean, more respect to him. I just don't know if that's the right play at you know, super early in the career. But you know, when you have you know, a lot of wins as he does and championship or two, he's say whatever you want, and so yeah, I mean, it's entertaining. Sometimes I got to scroll because it's a little rough, but yeah, the one that set me over the edge was the PSA deal he must have gotten off of like the sex pill or something like that.
He had to go in for a tune-up, right? Yeah,
That's
the whole
wild.
deal.
That's wild. Yeah. I mean, like, that's something someone like myself would probably do, but you wouldn't expect Kyle Busch with, I don't know how much money he has, but a significant amount of money to be doing those kind of ads. But I respect the grind.
Yeah, so do I. And it lightens him up a little bit. Like, you know, it humanizes him a little bit. Yeah.
For
and
sure.
it got
I mean,
me
a lot of us are, I feel like, are, I don't know, like, so trained to be so vanilla, and it's just lame. And so yeah, it's cool to see, I guess, some of the personality come out. But yeah, I mean, that's a one of a kind right there.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot. I apologize. What do you got, Spider?
Oh man, how do I follow that one?
I don't know. It was spicy though, so I think it's worth mentioning. And Samantha obviously is a beautiful girl.
No,
you know
that
what I mean?
clip,
So she gets in there and she can say whatever she wants. It was great. Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't imagine being Zane and that being like a coworker of mine, just having to see a clip like that. Like it would probably be like something like the Call Her Daddy girls or like fucking Alex Bennett or whatever.
And dude, I swear, like, Kyle and I, no matter if it's a good week or bad week, we qualify right by each other, like within 1,000ths of a second. And it's always we're right by each other when we have to walk out to driver intros. And I'm like, man, do I ask him if this is really him? Or I'm like, I'll check up on the reels.
That's so funny. It seemed like this race was a lot more exciting than the one we saw earlier here this year. Was that just because Kyle Larson led a shit ton of laps in that first race? Was it because this most recent race was a Saturday night under the lights? Was it because we had so many guys like yourself there at the end, potentially getting their first cup win? Why was it special?
Yeah, I think like some of that goes back to like what I was talking about, where like I feel like we need a little bit more of this style of racing, and we're testing all these different tires. I feel like, and so there's a lot of unknowns, which is I feel like needs to get fixed. Some, like, we need to know what the race is going to be like going into it to maximize our team and potential. But I think the craziness factor and the more exciting of a race came down to tire wear and not just qualifying for 500 laps. And, you had to take care of your stuff at the beginning of the run. And there was risk versus reward. Like, if you wanted to go take off in the beginning and try to get track position and hope for a caution, then more power to you. But if it didn't work out in that favor, then you're going to pay the penalty. And that's, I feel like, what a lot of the sport used to be, and we've been trying to get back to there in some shape, way, or form, and I feel like we've accomplished that at a few races so far. So yeah, hopefully we could keep that going.
Are you team chase guy or are you team playoff guy?
Um, man, I don't know. I like both.
Do you think the newest thing then, I should say, so full season chase versus the playoff with the one final versus this new thing we were just speaking about it, have like the 16 teams eliminate five, then have the final 6 go over 4 races. Is that something that might be a happy medium for a guy like you who says you like both?
Man, I don't know. I feel like there's no such thing as a happy medium. It needs to be one or the other. I personally don't think it would hurt anything seeing a full race season. I mean, the days of where someone just walks away with it are long gone. So that needs to get out of people's head. Like, no one's gonna walk away with this thing by 100 points. Everyone is too dang close, and it always comes down to the wire. I forget the last time someone had that big of a point lead. And so, I mean, right now more than ever, if someone is dominating and they have a bad pit stop and they get put back in 25th, like, they're gonna maybe get to 20th. Like, no one's just driving through the field. And so what that creates is just, tighter points battles. And so I feel like it needs to be rewarded a little bit more of seeing I don't want to call it like a true champion, but it rewarded more for those people that have a good year from Daytona to Phoenix, or I guess it'll be Daytona to Homestead. But, then again, comparing to other sports, the playoffs are something every other sport has. And, I mean, the lead up and the build up to make it to the championship round and to win that. I mean, I obviously haven't done that in the Cup Series, but I've done that in the Truck Series. And man, that was an electric night. But I still ultimately think it will come down to that. It will come down to that final race on who has the better day.
Do you have a prediction on who wins Cup Series as well as Xfinity Championship?
Man, I mean, I guess I go through them. I think from the Truck Series standpoint, obviously I'm going to be biased and hopefully see one of the FRM trucks. I want to see that group get back on that championship stage. The crew chief on the 34 truck now was my engineer when we won our championship, so it'd be really cool for him to get that one. So I mean, I hope to see Lane there get that one. And then from the Xfinity side, I mean, I feel like it's hard not to pick Connor. I feel like they're just so fast everywhere, and so that's gonna be tough to beat. I worked with Marty Lindley when I was in like ARCA, and he's an incredible talent, as is Connor and everyone on that team. And so JRM's on it. And then from the Cup side, like right now, the Gibbs Toyotas are incredibly fast, but I think people lose sight of what that round of 8 looks like and where this championship race is. And the best cars and drivers are probably the Penske Fords.
Yeah.
And so, Ryan is fast every single weekend, and his long run pace is incredibly good. And so, I mean, I feel like I got to go with Blaney on that, but time will tell, I guess.
Can you break down what's going to go on this weekend going into New Hampshire? I'm an East Coast guy. Spider was raised in Connecticut. You've never been to New Hampshire, correct?
I've been to the state of New Hampshire, never to the racetrack.
To Loudon, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never been to Loudon myself either. I just don't know what it is. It wasn't on our schedule the past couple of years. I'm going to make sure it's on our schedule next year. Can you just tell our listeners what they should expect to be watching when you guys take to the track at New Hampshire on Sunday?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're gonna see this newer tire. I think we've been running. I want to say it's at like Iowa and Gateway, I believe, where it seems to have like more of a chattery, like doesn't really want to have a whole lot of like right side grip. That's hard to explain to a listener, but it's a different feel than what a lot of us have, and what that creates is whoever kind of diagnoses issues and practice the best and has the best start to Sunday will have an advantage. And for those that are going to Loudon for the first time, this is my second time ever there, so I've really enjoyed my time down there. Those are like legit racing fans. Like I was just getting asked this on another call that I was doing earlier, and they like I try to explain, like when you go to, I don't know, like Vegas or something, like there's real West Coast fans, but they only get to see like us twice a year, let's say. Maybe they go to Phoenix or something. But these fans up in New Hampshire, they watch racing all the time. And so these are legit OG fans having a great time, tailgating, cooking a bunch of seafood. And yeah, it's a ton of fun there, and probably one of the coolest trophies, winning that. I think it's like a 22 or 26 pound lobster, which is crazy. I actually held it once, not in Victory Lane, but yeah, it'd be really cool to go see this year's version of it.
That would be really cool, Zane. The only seafood I'm familiar with is that from Long John Silver's, but I would love to hold the Loudon
nice
lobster one
there,
day.
dude.
Yeah, spider thrown in the
Hey,
plug.
if you-
That's why you're a fucking professional, by the way.
If you win that thing, I'm gonna need like the crab knuckle meat.
Oh,
The
please.
claw knuckle meat.
Yeah, send a couple over to Barstool. I don't know if you know this, I'm a little bit of a foodie. I'll make you a lobster roll. It'll knock your eye out.
Yeah.
Either way, let me.
Hell yeah, dude! I can make a good lobster roll
Well,
too.
actually, I do have one last
please.
question. Lobster roll, how do you like it? Are you doing mayo or are you doing butter? New England? What are the
It's
options?
Connecticut
I do
versus New England?
both.
Do you? You got to pick one, Zane.
Wait,
I'm
what'd
not
you
letting
say?
you sit on the fence. Are you hot butter on your lobster roll, or are you mayo and celery? You know, the mayo celery mix.
No, I'm hot butter.
Yes, W's.
right.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear.
Yeah. By the way, that's
Yeah,
a good
100%.
nickname. That's a good nickname for you.
Hot
Zane
butter.
Hot Butter. I don't know, man. In Zane in the Membrane's also a good one. This is Zane Smith. He
Yeah.
killed it last week. Expect to watch him kill it this week again. We appreciate your time, Zane. We'll talk to you soon.
Cool. Thank you guys. Appreciate having me on.
All right, so thank you to Zane Smith for carving some time out.
Yep.
I know he's got a bunch, went through the car wash this week with doing a couple of shows, so we always appreciate his time. I'd watch that podcast, him and his wife just talking about shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I
think
mean-
they're well met, because Zane's a good-looking son of a bitch.
Yeah.
And his wife is obviously a very attractive young woman, and every other, like, relationship, you have this rocket ship and this dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they're, like, well-met, good-looking couple.
It does seem like a lot of the NASCAR couples are starting to get, become parents and welcome kids and stuff to the world. We've seen Blaney just have a kid, obviously, or not Blaney, Bubba rather. Blaney has one on the way. So a lot of these kids, whereas Zane and his wife are kind of like the young, relatable ones, I feel,
Yeah.
in a way, at
Yeah.
least from where I'm at in life. So
And I tell you, like he had said how those 3 weeks went where he was just constantly getting wrecked and how it's disappointing and all that stuff. It's nice for him to then break out, have a race like this, and remind everybody how much of a fucking wheelman he
yeah,
is. you
which
know?
he does a lot. I mean,
Yeah.
where was it at last year? Nashville, I think he finished second.
Yeah.
So there's some times when you're sleeping on the kid and he reminds him.
Yeah.
So good
Yeah.
for him.
Love that he came on. Let's talk about what we have going on this week. We'll do a little preview. But first, NASCAR wants to remind you that the ROVAL is right around the corner. I think we may be going to the ROVAL. We find out later this week. The chaos of the ROVAL is unlike anything else in NASCAR. Drivers will battle for every inch on Charlotte's unique road course oval hybrid. It's NASCAR's playoff elimination race with championship hopes on the line. Stars like Larson and Byron and Hamlin and Blaney and Christopher Bell will leave it all out there. You won't want to miss one of the most predictable and thrilling races of the season. The chaos of the ROVAL meets playoff elimination. Tune in on Sunday, October 5th at 3 p.m. Eastern Time on USA for the Bank of America ROVAL 400 at Charlotte Motor Speedway. That's on October 5th. This week, we're going to New Hampshire. No Xfinity this week. Picks up next week in Kansas. The rest of us are heading up north. Trucks have the team EGP 175 on Saturday, starting at noon on FS1. Couple of Xfinity full. No, Carson won't be in it. Christian Eckes wheeling the 16 in that race. And the Cup has the Mobile 1 301 on Sunday. It's going to start at 2 p.m. on USA. Bell is the defending champ, also won here in 2022. Overwhelming fave, as we had mentioned before. Denny, Kyle Busch, and Brad Kay have also won multiple times at this track. We just mentioned it with Zane. They give them anywhere from like a 20 to a 26-pound lobster from Macris Lobster and Steakhouse. The driver poses with the live lobster. Then they take the lobster, cook it, pick out the meat, send it to the pit crew, and mount the shell on a trophy. That's how it goes. Kurt Busch in 2008 said that he thought he didn't want to kill the lobster, so asked them not to kill it, instead to donate it to like some zoo in New England, aquarium in New England. They got it to the aquarium, and that day the lobster died.
No.
Isn't that fucking terrible? It's not terrible. I'd eat the shit out of the thing.
You think they still ate it?
I guess so, right? If it's freshly dead, you know what I mean?
I feel like you might as well.
If you're eating a dead 26-pound lobster, imagine how tough that is. It's not good.
Like the meat, you mean?
I'm going the other way. Big lobster is tough meat. Dead lobster is bad meat. There's no way they fucking cook that thing.
Yeah, that's probably a good point.
Yeah.
Big's not always like, you ever get like a massive chicken wing? You're like, this is like,
it's a lot.
Yeah,
it's too big. It's kind of gross now.
Yeah,
I hear you. Yeah, yeah. Big is not always better. Except with dicks, right? I mean, we can all agree. Like,
we'd have to ask Quiggs about that.
Yeah.
Let's pick some winners.
Pick
Pick of the Tires brought to you by DraftKings. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Every game is another chance to cash in. Don't just watch the action, win with it. DraftKings Sportsbook delivers the unmatched intensity of the NFL right to your fingertips, from the first touchdown scorer to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting. Every snap is loaded with opportunity. New customers, this one is for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly, plus score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. So your season's heating up. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code Rubbin. That's code Rubbin to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first bet, plus over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. I'm going first.
Go ahead.
The Killer Bees. Christopher Bell is the fave, plus 330. I'm taking him. Briscoe, top 3 is plus 200. I'm taking him. And Berry is plus 500 for a top 5. I'm taking Bell to win. Briscoe, top 3. Berry, top 5. Then I'm doing a parlay. Group C, I have Ross Chastain beating Reddick, Kyle Busch, and Buescher. And Group D, I have Josh Berry beating Bubba, Brad Kay, and Ty Gibbs. You parlay those two guys together. Chastain winning Group C, Berry winning Group D. It's plus 1,900. I had to take that fucking thing.
I like that.
I don't think that's that. I think those are great odds for that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so we got the Killer Bees up top, and then a parlay that is plus 1,900. That's all I got.
Yeah, as of right now, I'm going to go with one driver, and that driver is someone you just mentioned. It's Chase Briscoe. He's 7-1. There's a lot I like about Chase Briscoe here. Mainly, first of all, the Toyotas have won the last 3 races here. But if you look at driveraverages.com, 2 of the top drivers, if you look, Martin Truex is actually 3rd with an average finish of 4.7 in 3 races here. He has 1 win, 2 top 5s, and close to 450 laps led. Chase Briscoe is slightly a little bit further down the list in 6th of the drivers listed in their averages at New Hampshire with an average finish of 9th. So between those 2 data points, Martin Truex and Chase Briscoe, obviously Chase Briscoe now driving Martin Truex's car. I think Chase has a really, really good resume at this kind of track, and for that reason, I'm going to take him outright 7-1. I also like him even money plus 100 for a top 5. That's what I'm looking at. The pick sixes, NASCAR, have been a little bit tough on me the last couple weeks. I haven't been having the best success, so I might do some for football. I might do some for NASCAR. That's something you're just going to have to look for on Twitter. But as of right now, Chase Briscoe plus 700 is my main play. Quigs, what do you got, bud?
I got one parlay.
Oh.
A race winner and a top 5. I'm thinking Kyle Larson
To win?
to win. Just he's gonna get off the schneid. He's due.
Okay. What else?
And we're gonna parlay that with Bubba Wallace top 5. I thought Bubba Wallace looked really good last week. He's sneaky pretty good here. I think he's got in the last 3 2 top 10s and a top 5. I think both of those could come true.
Okay. And Moonhead hit me. He likes Catherine like top 10. All right, that's it for us this week on Rubbin is Racing. We will see you guys next week. Thank you again to Zane Smith for tuning in, and thank you to all our sponsors as usual. And we will see you next week after the race.
Peace.
Peace.